At last, the sky was right. A new moon, dusk's ending pitch. Night wove through the oaken wood like negative sun rays, and the wind howled and hissed. Silent as frost forming, the Witchers crept swiftly towards that blighted mass of stone, Stygga Castle, a place once home, the rooms within, and the laboratory where the mages could not be forgiven for what they had done, for their experimenting, their meddling. No, justice must be wrought, revenge had, the bloodlust sated. Witchers from the School of the Cat fill a very unique hybrid role. Trained in stealth and assassination above all else, as rogues, they are quick and agile and know how to sneak, but as counterintuitive as it might seem, they also have an element of the Berserker to them. This is due to the mutation process they went through. In an attempt to create Witchers they could control, the mages at Stygga Castle, where the school trained, created a highly potent and dangerous alchemical brew meant to strip the Witchers of all emotion. They were largely successful in their first few, more conservative attempts, but with time they got greedy and pushed too far. In their rush for power, the mages created an all-powerful mutagen that ended up having an effect opposite to what they wanted. Rather than dampening them, it created Witchers with extreme, heightened emotions. It made them wild and reckless and unpredictable. You might say these Witchers became a bit unhinged. The mages decided they couldn't be allowed to live, and figured the best way to find out where they had gone wrong would be to dissect them all. Yeah, some of the mages in the Witcher world are pretty messed up. Problem was, a few of those now crazy Witchers escaped, revenge on their minds, and after a while they returned to the castle and slaughtered the mages while they slept, which was alright, eye for an eye and whatnot, except it gave the School of the Cat a really bad reputation and everyone ended up hating them after that. Anyway, there's a quote I found that comes from Gwent, the Witcher card game, that says, "Members of the School of the Cat are ill-famed due to their penchant for frenzy and bloodlust in the heat of battle." That sounds a lot like a Berserker, and makes sense, heightened emotions and all. While Cat School Witchers would likely begin the hunt with stealth in mind, they definitely aren't a one-and-done kind of class. If it comes to a fight, they will gladly charge in head-on with reckless abandon, not caring that the light armor they wear would offer very little protection from incoming attacks. Again, like Viking Berserkers who are said to run into battle wearing nothing but the skin of an animal. In addition to their unique fighting style, I also find their way of life exciting. Because they were so hated by most, the school couldn't risk having a stationary training site, so they created a caravan, a mobile base of operations from which they could travel around, taking contracts and finding new recruits to join their ranks. This means most of their time would be spent out in the wilds. Also, this might be fan fiction, there's not really much out there on the cats, but it's said the school, or at least a few of its members, were known to assist the elves out in the woods in their guerrilla warfare against the humans, meaning they would need to adapt their training to fit a forest environment. I honestly can't think of anything cooler than this combination of things. A stealth, rogue, assassin, berserker hybrid character who travels around as a nomad fighting things in wild forests. It's perfect. So, how might we train to become like these rage-filled Witchers? Well, to start, we'll need to be quick and light on our feet. We'll need stealth abilities like how to stay out of sight and how to remain silent when sneaking through the brush. We'll need some decent mobility. Stealth will probably require lots of crawling, bending, and wedging ourselves into and out of narrow spaces. We'll need speed and agility, of course. We'll also need at least a base layer of strength and endurance. Being a pure stealth rogue is one thing, but the Cat School Witcher has that element of the Berserker in him too, so we'll need the strength to fight for a prolonged period of time if need be. We'll need skill and precision with a sword. A Berserker in the Rage would be useless without these things, and it doesn't matter how good we are at sneaking around. If we miss our target when we pounce, what's the point? Along those same lines, we'll need to train our nervous system to come alive, so to speak, at a moment's notice, so we can be effective going from a complete standstill in the shadows one moment to attacking with power the next. We'll need to train ourselves to push through fatigue, so we can keep up that frenzy and bloodlust in the heat of battle thing. We should prioritize getting at least moderately lean, and actually getting decently shredded would probably be even better. Less excess body fat means we can move faster and stay quieter. Finally, being a fighter, we should also do at least some neck training. With the light armor Cat School Witchers wear, the idea would be avoiding attacks if possible, but you can't always predict everything, and it wouldn't do getting knocked out after the first blow. So, with these things in mind, let's make a training program. To start, I believe the core of our Cat School Witcher program should be focused on basic strength training. This may seem strange for a character that's all about speed and agility, but hear me out. Coming from a background of fantasy role-playing games, it's easy to see basic stats as nothing more than that. Basic stats that fit one specific role and provide one specific benefit. In a real-world scenario, though, each stat has a much larger, far-reaching impact on everything else than that. In a game, strength might be simplified to mean your ability to use heavy, slow-moving weapons or to wear heavy armor, but in a real-world setting, strength makes up the foundation of everything. With strong legs, sprinting through the woods becomes easier. With a strong back, so does climbing a tree. With a base layer of strength, you can fight for longer too, as each strike with your sword will take less energy and your shoulders and forearms won't wear out as fast. While cat school witchers aren't necessarily focused on strength as a main attribute, they still need it. Heavy strength training also builds muscle size, which is important too. This is a lean and agile build, not a huge bodybuilder like one, but adding some muscle size will make us faster and more powerful, as well as more resilient to injury, which is huge. There are many different training tools we could use to build basic strength and muscle, but for becoming a witcher from the school of the cat, I just don't think you can beat sandbags and basic bodyweight calisthenics. Sandbags get you big and strong, they make you powerful, they're incredible for training the nervous system, as discussed earlier, to be ready to go at a moment's notice. They improve endurance, and as much as everything else, they just give you this general feeling of stability, which will help a lot with staying grounded when sneaking around. Bodyweight calisthenics builds strength and muscle too, while also teaching us to move our bodies through space. Weighted calisthenics is cool, but for specificity, for being able to maneuver ourselves through the trees quickly, climbing, crawling, bending, and the like in very light armor, basic bodyweight training just makes sense. Sandbags and calisthenics will make up the bulk of the program, and will take care of a large part of the strength, muscle, endurance, and power we're after, but there is more. For speed and agility, there are a few things I'd like to focus on. First, we'll make use of what's possibly the most overpowered form of training there is, sprinting. In addition to making us faster and more powerful, sprinting will also help with getting lean and will just make us into generally more athletic people. We'll also include some plyometrics, as well as a few jumping variations here to round things out. For mobility, I think animal movement is the perfect choice. To sneak through the woods, it will sometimes be necessary for us to crouch down and crawl around, and if we can't even get into position to crawl because we lack mobility, we won't be very effective. Here, luckily, we have a two birds, one stone kind of deal. The act of crawling itself will improve mobility naturally, so that's what we'll do. Crawl around on all fours like some kind of mountain lion out there stalking its prey. Combining a lot of this stuff together, I think cat witchers would also benefit from training parkour a bit too, moving swiftly and silently at top speeds through the woods, scaling fallen tree limbs or climbing rocks, all while staying hidden. Then there's the big one, sword training. Witchers live by the sword, and the more time we spend practicing, the better. We can look at this as our sport. The other training builds our base and makes us better able to do things in a general sense, but at the end of the day, our skill with a sword is most important. Last but not least, if we need to sneak through the woods, remaining silent in the shadows, we'll need to learn how to move through the brush without making noise. Though we may learn to stay out of sight by jumping from tree to tree or something like that, sometimes traversing the ground will be the only option, so we'll need to practice the skill of moving silently over grass and leaves, across streams, and amidst branches. And there's everything. We have the sandbags and the calisthenics, the sprinting, jumping, and plyometrics, crawling around like an animal, parkour, sword training, and learning to move silently through the brush. There are so many other things you could add to a program like this: kettlebells, rope climbing, mace training, balance stuff, walking on a tightrope, something it's said cat school witchers would do in their training. Feel free to modify the program as you see fit. This is just what I've come up with. Monday begins with uphill sprinting. Start with 4 lower intensity warm-up sets in the 5 to 10 second range, slowly ramping up the speed and distance each set, then perform 5 sets of roughly 4 to 6 seconds each at max speed with at least a few minutes rest between sets. You don't need a full 5 minutes rest or anything like that, but do rest long enough so you feel recovered and ready to go at max speed again. If possible, try to run at different inclines as the weeks go by. If you have multiple hills nearby, rotate through them, or if you're on a treadmill, change up the settings as often as you can. Quick disclaimer, if you haven't been doing any sprinting recently, spend at least the first couple weeks of the program running at closer to 70 to 80% speed rather than all out. Sprinting is very high intensity work, and you must condition yourself to it slowly. Shout out to pro sprinting coach Spencer Graziano for helping me set up this part of the program. I wanted to quickly pass on something he said about sprinting. He said one of the issues he often sees is after years spent strength training, a lifter might not realize how strong and powerful he's become, and with that power comes a higher risk of injury if he just jumps in headfirst without any preparation. Again, start slow. Next in the workout is single leg broad jumps with a 2-foot landing, meaning you'll jump from 1 foot and land on both, done for 2 cluster sets of 3 reps for each leg. That's 4 sets total, with 1 to 2 minutes rest between sets. Cluster set means you'll do 1 rep, give yourself a second to get back to the starting position, do another rep, and continue for 3 reps. Alternate back and forth between legs. Set 1 right leg, set 2 left leg, and so on. In addition to making us better able to jump from the shadows, these also get the nervous system fired up for the next exercise, that being a power-based sandbag lift from the lap. Now, I'm leaving this part open because everyone has their favorite, and because depending on the shape of your sandbag, one variation might work better than the others, but this part of the workout is all about generating power from the hips and using that triple extension strength. Bring a sandbag to your lap and toss it up in whichever way you see fit. Some great variations to choose from are the high pull, the basic extension, the vertical power lifting technique, the throw and catch or sandbag hang clean, the one motion sandbag to shoulder, or the sandbag over shoulder. Pick one and perform 10 sets of 3 reps with max explosive power with 1 to 2 minutes rest between sets. This is one of those instances where you don't necessarily need to worry about going up in weight or reps every workout. You can do the same 10 sets of 3 with the same weight for many weeks or months and continue improving by putting more force behind every rep. Eventually you'll want to move up in weight, but don't rush it. After that is the sandbag row, done for either 3 sets of max reps with 3 to 5 minutes rest between sets, trying to do at least 1 extra rep in one of your sets each workout, or for a density set of max reps in 10 minutes. That would mean you set a timer for 10 minutes, do as many reps as you can in that time, and every workout you'll try to do at least 1 extra rep in those 10 minutes. Both methods work great, it just comes down to personal preference. Finally, to end the workout, give yourself 15 minutes to practice animal movement. You can do whatever you'd like here, just have fun with it. Play that you're a witcher out there sneaking through the trees or something. I should mention, I am a complete beginner with this stuff, and giving any advice on technique would be wrong of me. I've kind of just been crawling around in whatever ways I can think of, but if you want more information on specific animal movement drills you can practice, I highly recommend the GMB and Strength Side YouTube channels. Those guys actually know what they're doing. Tuesday's workout is all about calisthenics and begins with an explosive pull and an explosive push. I recommend explosive pull-ups and plyometric push-ups here, but feel free to scale the exercises to suit your current strength level. If explosive pull-ups are too challenging, inverted rows work too, or you can use band assistance. If plyometric push-ups are too difficult, you can elevate your hands. Note, if you use the explosive pull-ups, don't force yourself to stay ultra strict with the form. While we don't want full-on CrossFit kipping pull-ups, a little bit of leg drive is okay. These will be done back-to-back for 3 sets of 3 reps each with 1 to 2 minutes rest between sets. That's 3 pulls, rest 1 to 2 minutes, 3 push, rest 1 to 2 minutes, 3 pulls again, and continue on for 3 sets of 3 reps each. Keep in mind, the whole purpose here is building explosive power. You must put everything you have into every rep, pulling and pushing as if your life depended on it. If you've already been training for a while, it might seem pointless doing just 3 reps of an exercise when you could probably do many more, but there's a difference between training for max explosive power and training for muscle. Sets of 3 done powerfully will increase your power level. I do believe they have the potential for adding muscle size too, that's just not the goal here. After the power exercises, it's time for a calisthenics circuit. In addition to building lots of muscle, these will improve our endurance and train us to push through fatigue, both things we'll need for that Berserker side of things. These circuits also help a lot with getting lean too. Today's circuit is pull-ups, dips, hanging leg raises or ab wheel rollouts, and pike push-ups done using a 5-3-2 ladder for max rounds in 20 to 30 minutes. This means you'll start a timer and do 5 pull-ups, 5 dips, 5 hanging leg raises, 5 pike push-ups, then 3 pull-ups, 3 dips, 3 hanging leg raises, and 3 pike push-ups, then 2 pull-ups, 2 dips, 2 hanging leg raises, and 2 pike push-ups. That would be 1 round. Continue completing rounds until you reach the 20 to 30 minute range. Once there, stop for the day. Next time you attempt the circuit, complete the same number of rounds and try to complete them faster. For example, if 5 rounds took you 25 minutes in workout 1, next workout try to finish all 5 rounds again in 24 minutes and 59 seconds or less. That would be a 1-second improvement. Keep doing this every workout until you complete the circuit for 5 rounds in under 20 minutes, then add an additional round next workout and keep going. If you want more information on calisthenic circuits, I just released a full 30-minute deep dive video on them covering everything. I'll have it linked in the description if you're interested. Last for today, complete 4 sets of 25 neck curls and neck extensions. That's 4 sets of 25 each. Alternate back and forth between exercises. 25 neck curls, then 25 neck extensions, back again, and so on. If you don't have a head harness or plates to train your neck with, bridging can be a good option here too. Just know that neck bridging is pretty advanced, and if you want to do it, I would highly recommend looking up some tutorial videos and taking it very slow at the start. Wednesday is the first optional arm day of the week. Your arms will grow from this program without the isolation work, but I wanted the option to be here. For this workout, if you choose to do it, perform 2 sets each of a biceps exercise, a triceps exercise, and a shoulder exercise. Stick to isolation movements here. Keep the bicep curls strict, use extensions or push downs rather than close grip bench, side laterals rather than overhead press. You get the idea. You can set this up however you'd like, but I prefer giant sets myself. Do your biceps exercise, go directly to triceps, then directly to shoulders. Rest a couple minutes, then do it all again. This shouldn't take more than 10 to 15 minutes tops. You can use whichever rep range you'd like, though staying in the 6 to 15 range makes things easy. Again, you don't need to do this, but the option is there if you want to. Thursday's workout begins with uphill sprinting, done in exactly the same way as on Monday. Start with 4 lower intensity warm-up sets of 5 to 10 seconds, slowly ramping up the speed and distance each set, then perform 5 sets of roughly 4 to 6 seconds at max speed with at least a few minutes rest between each. Exercise 2 is also similar to Monday, only this time, rather than single leg broad jumps, we'll do standard broad jumps from 2 legs. Today, complete 4 cluster sets of 3 reps each with 1 to 2 minutes rest between sets. Exercise 3 is the same today as it was on Monday. Choose an explosive lifting variation from the lap and perform 10 sets of 3 reps with 1 to 2 minutes rest between sets. If possible, I'd recommend working with a different variation today. For example, maybe on Monday you did high pulls, and today you'll do the throw and catch. Exercise 4 is the Sandbag bear hug carry. This will be done in the same way as rows on Monday. Perform either 3 sets of max distance with 3 to 5 minutes rest between sets, or set a timer for 10 minutes and go as far as you can. The bear hug carry is really hard, but it is one of the primary strength building exercises in the program, so be sure to push yourself to your limit here. After carries, again give yourself 15 minutes to practice animal movement like you did on Monday, then call it a day. Friday's workout is the same as Tuesday's, but with a different circuit. Start with your 3 sets of 3 push and pull like you did on Tuesday, then move on to your circuit. This one is pull-ups, diamond push-ups, rollouts or hanging leg raises, and dips, again done using a 5-3-2 ladder for max rounds in the 20 to 30 minute range. End the day with 4 sets of 25 neck curls and neck extensions. Saturday is the second optional arm day of the week. If you want to do it, again perform 2 sets each of a biceps, triceps, and shoulders exercise. You can do both arm workouts if you'd like, just one or neither. It's up to you. Again, this should only take a few minutes to complete. Sunday is an off day from scheduled training. This is the basic workout plan, but there's more to it. Every day of the week is also open for sword training and/or wandering the woods trying to be stealthy or parkour. This part is completely open. You could train with your sword for an hour every single day of the week if you wanted, or you could just spend a few minutes whenever you think about it. Whatever you choose, I hope you'll do at least some sword training. It will get you feeling like a witcher, and that's what it's all about. You can buy training swords pretty cheap online if you want, but you can also just use a stick or a broom handle. Those work fine. Really, anything you can swing around will do the trick. As for what to actually do, you can look up sequences of movements online and practice them. You can make up your own combos. You can practice basic strikes and footwork drills. I find sword flourishing really fun, even though it's not something you'd probably use in an actual fight. It does help a lot with confidence and with learning the feel and balance of your weapon. Just practice in some way and have fun. For the stealth wandering part of the program, if you have woods nearby, just get out there and practice walking through the trees as quietly as you can whenever you get the chance. Pro tip, if you do this while wearing medieval clothing, people usually just assume you're doing something important and are less likely to think you're up to no good. There seems to be many different methods for walking silently through the woods. I'd recommend looking up videos on this, as I'm not an expert by any means, but there are a few tips I found when researching the topic. The first thing everyone seems to agree on is moving with the wind. If the wind's howling, it will cover the sound of your tracks. Some recommend mimicking the sound of animals, trying to match their movement patterns. Perhaps less effective when stalking a person, but monsters are probably used to the sounds of wildlife. Another tip, don't drag your feet. There are also all kinds of situational things. One area may require a heel-toe step, another toe-heel, and another a flat foot. Again, definitely not an expert, but even just watching a few quick videos, then getting out there and practicing has been enough for me to improve a little bit. This skill can take a lifetime to master, but as with all skills, practice adds up. And like the complete beginner lifter, rapid gains are possible when you first start. It's also just pretty fun sneaking through the woods, and it's great for active recovery from your strength training too. Now that it's the autumn season, there should be lots of fallen leaves to practice on. If you don't have any woods nearby, I'd still recommend at least going for a couple walks each week, outside if possible, but on a treadmill works too. I would approach the parkour stuff with the same attitude. You can look up tutorials on special movements and practice them if you want, but really this can be as easy as, hey, there's a fallen tree. I bet I could jump over that or climb on it. That's what I've been doing, and I gotta say, this stuff is pretty awesome. I wouldn't overdo the volume here. Parkour can be intense exercise depending on how you do it, but I do think having a little bit in the program is worth it. And that's how I would train to become like a witcher from the School of the Cat. I hope you enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun making it. If you're new to sandbags and looking to get started, you might like the video series I made called Sandbag Basics. It's a free intro guide that covers how to choose a sandbag, how to fill it, what weight to use, how to do the basic exercises, stuff like that. I've also written 2 books on sandbags. They were both Amazon #1 bestsellers thanks to this awesome community here. I'll have links to everything in the description if you're interested. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.